GM friends, now if you're the type of degen that apes into an obvious pump and dump, you're definitely going to get rugged, and with those paper hands, you're NGMI. But if you get past all the FUD and are totally bullish on a fully doxed project that you'll flex in a year's time because you've had your diamond hand since mint, well then, LFG, WAGMI, and when Lambo. That's so hard to say. Well, that actually makes total sense to me, but 6 months or so ago, it didn't. The problem is that nobody actually talks like that. Well, not in full sentences anyway. It's a bunch of words with lots of different meanings that collectively help you navigate your way through the NFT community. And if you can get your head around them, you'll really be able to converse with people who'll really be able to help you on your own journey. And we are all really nice. We just kind of speak in a weird language. So in this video, I'm going to take you through 5 key pieces of lingo that you're going to really need to help you get started in the NFT space. And if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to throw in a really important word which I think is going to be completely prevalent for this year and is going to really help you in terms of your strategic decisions that you take into the future as well. And by the end of this, you're going to be able to waltz into NFT Twitter and also Discord and pretend like you've been in NFTs for years. When I say years, I obviously mean months because it's not really been around that long, but you know what I mean. Right, LFG. GM. It's the way that we like to greet each other in the NFT community, and it literally just means good morning. You can actually couple it with GM friends, which actually just means good morning friends. We just weirdly spell it in a strange way. I have no actual explanation as to why, but hey, looks cute, right? GM friends, GM. Now, obviously, saying GM in the real world doesn't quite work, but if you can say GM at any time of the day, it does work online because there are people waking up in different parts of the world and it's got to be the morning somewhere. But don't forget, if you are off to bed, it's always a good courtesy to also say GM or good night, and people will really appreciate it for you. It's not hard, is it? Now, degen is actually a crypto term, and it's actually short for, well, you guessed it, degenerate. Now, why would we all want to call ourselves degenerates, I hear you ask? Well, in the real world, the dictionary terminology actually describes a degenerate as someone who's lost the physical, mental, or moral qualities considered normal and desirable, showing evidence of decline. Right. Well, that's not very fun, is it? So in the crypto space, it's actually a little bit more tongue-in-cheek because we recognize that NFTs and crypto are still kind of the wild, wild west of the digital space. So degens are actually referred to people who buy and sell crypto or NFTs as much as possible and as quickly as possible so they can get as rich as possible as soon as they can. Which I'm kind of thinking is maybe the dream for a lot of us, right? Come on, be true to yourself. So let me be honest, when I first heard the term aped in, I thought it was to do with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and when you're aping into a project, you're aping into something as influential as that, and that's what that's all about. It's actually quite wrong. But it is actually a crypto term, and what it means is that you're aping in or moving into a project without actually doing all the proper due diligence around it. You've got a little bit of FOMO, and so you're aping in because everyone's saying that it's a great project. It's a fun, friendly term, so don't take it too seriously. And for me, I prefer to use it in the reference to the BAYC anyway, because why not? They're apes, and I want to ape in like the BAYC. Use it as you will. Shill or shilling a project literally means that you're telling everyone about your project, and sometimes it feels a little bit like a hard sell, so you can imagine how that comes across in real life. It comes across in the same kind of way in the digital space. The best example I can give you of this is where it's kind of not welcome. And that might be in a Twitter space, for instance. And I mean that as in the audio Twitter space. So you might be entering a Twitter space and people are talking about a particular project or a particular topic within the NFT space. And then you come in and start talking about your own project and telling everyone why it's so amazing. And the thing is that not everyone wants to hear that. There are definitely spaces called shill spaces where you can do stuff like that. But if it's not the right space for that, the host might very politely tell you to please move on and not to promote your product and your project in that way. It's all done really politely, but it's just something to be aware of. Now, there are also SHILL influencers and SHILL YouTube channels as well. And these are people and channels that are solely set up to just promote projects. Whether or not that's the best marketing for your project, I'm not so sure. I actually personally prefer going down the organic route, speaking to people, building those meaningful conversations, and if they ask, telling them about your project and directing them to your project's details, the website, the Twitter handle, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to give the hard sell in here. In fact, people in the NFT community prefer to build those relationships rather than being sold to. So just something to bear in mind. And finally, not to end on a sour note, but you might hear people talk about FUD. It's a small term, but it means a lot. It means fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And what you don't want to be doing is spreading FUD within the community. Sometimes a few bad eggs might just spread some bad karma about a project and go onto a space or tweet out that it's got no legs to it. And unfortunately, you always have to do your own research, and sometimes that just won't be true. There might be other motives at play. But also you might get people who are giving you that cautionary tale and saying, look, I don't want to spread FUD about this project, but you should be aware of these red flags, for instance. And I think it's always good that you keep that in mind. You can always tell when someone's trying to spread FUD about the community because it's just not very nice. And to be honest, all we ever want to do is keep it friendly, people, so bear that in mind. Now, time for a little bonus for you. Now, the bonus word that I'm dropping for you is doxed. And doxed is such an important word and is going to continue to be even more important in the year ahead, because what you don't want is to invest in a project that ultimately becomes a rug pull. So doxing is just about showing off your real identity, and there's lots of ways in which teams can do this. It's just really important that you get to see them. So it might be through LinkedIn, it might be through YouTube videos, it might even be through Instagram, so you can link people together to those projects. Accountability is so important. If you're an investor in the space and you're buying NFTs, you want to make sure that you're buying into a project that's got legs and it's got a team behind it that really want to see it go to the moon. And if you don't have that, it might just raise a few red flags for you. It certainly does for me. And really what this is trying to tell you is that we're trying to keep this space as safe as possible. Without regulations and things that people need to adhere to, it's so easy to get caught up in the hype. And actually, if there's not a fully doxed team behind it, you actually don't know where your money's going to. So just something to bear in mind. And that's it, some keywords for you to really help you get started in the NFT space. And to be honest, if you have these keywords to get you going, you'll quickly pick up the rest as well. It's so fun to be talking to people in this way. It's almost like a little bit of a secret society where we are kind of know the lingo because we're in the NFT space, and other people are a bit like, WTF? So make sure you brush up on that, and if you have any more questions about what terminology is, leave them in the comments below. And if you're wanting to take your next steps into the NFT space, why not check these videos out as well? These will help you navigate your way around OpenSea. It will give you an insight into what it means to buy and sell in the space, and I hope it's really helpful. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.